Hey guys, how are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening wrap. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, we will go straight over to those charts and see what is going on. So yeah, the 4-hour chart here, you can see we have this trend line coming in. This is the important level that we were talking about this morning to take out, basically close 4-hour candles above. We were calling it, well, 10,300 to get us clear of the trend line. Yeah, as you can see, we almost did. We very close to closed above it. We were trading above it with probably like about 10 minutes to go. But yeah, we closed underneath. But that doesn't mean we can't take ourselves above in this next candle. But obviously we've got a good 4 hours to play out. And then obviously we've got this level here. We'll actually draw this horizontal into. We've got this level here that we kind of need to get above also. But first things first, let's get above the 10.3 if we can, and invalidate this descending triangle. The last thing we want though is to basically get rejected here and come back down, because then, I mean, you would have to bet that in all likelihood we then would play out the descending triangle, take out the level, take out the bottom of it. And then play some sort of a projected move lower, be it the flagpole or be it the descending triangle target. One of those two, but either way we're looking at lower. So it's kind of an inflection point. We have got to take out this level. Otherwise, if we do come down, it definitely won't be looking good. It won't be looking good, put it that way. Let's have a look at stock markets as well. As you can see, the Nasdaq struggling a bit here. What we have got the quarterly options expiries this month. So we have got to kind of expect high vol in these stocks, basically, because obviously, as we know, there is massive options interest, especially calls. So that has to be hedged or unhedged, or basically as we come into the end of those expiries. So yeah, we can expect the market makers to having to be making continual adjustments to large positions, and we could have all sorts of vol into the end of this month. So yeah, well, the third Friday of this month at least, anyway. But yeah, so this S&P though, if you want to have a look at the S&P, S&P managed to actually quite impressively regain this horizontal. So this was obviously the breakout point from here where we went on this big run up. We had lost that, at which point we said this was our target, which we basically almost got perfectly. And so yeah, subsequently bounced off that, retook our higher target, retook this higher level anyway. Yeah, and then subsequently have come back to backtest it. So if this can just be a successful backtest of this line and we can progress upwards, then that obviously would be great. There is similarly a trend line in here that obviously we're getting rejected from, between these two, obviously created from these 2 points and then got rejected at here. So yeah, trend line there to break. Dollar index, the all important dollar index, as I was talking about as well, got above this horizontal, and I basically said if we basically can come back below, that will it would potentially give us a swing failure pattern above here, and then realistically we can be targeting at the bottom of this range, which would be, well, around the 92.5, as we'll call it. So that is indeed what has played out. Is this potentially going to be a bear flag play out? Yeah, I mean, like I said, potentially. We also have this larger trend line that I've drew in this morning, which has nicely rejected price also. As you can see, it comes from obviously this price action here. If we look at it on the daily, it might look a bit more clear. Well, if I sort the chart out. Yeah, obviously between all these points here, and that is almost to the tick where we've been rejected here. So that is obviously good to see. We're getting rejected there. Well, good to see, because we want this to go down. But yeah, important level here. I mean, I'm guessing that trend line was just too nice a target for the algos to not try and hit. And they hit it, and now we're coming back down. Obviously this horizontal was an important level, but yeah, they obviously were targeting this targeting this trend line to take profit. And yeah, now it's a case of will we reestablish some sort of level of support for the dollar index and then have another push through, or is that it? We're just continuing our move down. Obviously the move down would be the ideal scenario for us. Didn't mean to click on USO here. I meant to click on silver. Where is it? Here it is. Silver looking good as well. Silver looking good. Has obviously bounced off this horizontal level here again and broke through it and then got bought back up again and yeah, tested it again and moving up. So I mean, I expect silver to, well, obviously if the dollar comes down, silver to make this move back up to 28 and then push on upwards. Clearly if the dollar doesn't, we're going to be taking out this level and coming down. But yeah, so we have got that dynamic too, which all realistically, like I said, it comes down to the dollar. Everything comes down to the dollar, and we're at an important level here. We swung above here, got rejected, so we are at a potential turning point back down now in this, even though we have got well, the formings of a potential bottom. But yeah, I mean, if it doesn't play out, it doesn't play out, does it? So yeah, back over to Bitcoin though. Obviously we are selling off that 10,003 level as we speak. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, consolidation or holding around here and breaking up will be fine. Coming all the way back down will not be fine. I don't believe, and I think that will basically, I mean, that's what I mean. There's a lot at stake here, and we're only about 200 or so dollars away. So yeah, and then what is potentially playing out is just obviously this bit of a retrace that we're having in stocks. If I just show you here, yeah, well, this is not the right time frame to show you it. Yeah, this and here. So obviously stocks have obviously had a nice move up, met this trend line and coming back down to test this. So if they start to move back up, I think we'll be all good to go. And if this keeps coming down, which is dragging Bitcoin down at the moment, in sympathy with it, then obviously Bitcoin will keep coming down. So like I said, all interrelated, stocks, dollar, and yeah, and Bitcoin. So yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at here. I mean, this does look like it could be a potential bottoming formation here. I mean, like I said, we've got to break this descending triangle pattern. We've got to fully and formally break and close above this high here, and then just make our progress through here. Then things will be looking good, and you would expect a move. Well, at least back to the 11k, maybe some consolidation between 11 and 10.6, and then yeah, then potential resumption of the upside. Let's have a look at some of those stochastics. 4 hour, looking good again, back above the 50 point, moving up, so that is looking good. The 10 hour moving up nicely now, so this is not looking too bad here. 12 hour, I mean, it's a very low base, but if it starts to make the move, this is the main one that I think will get price action, basically realistically through 10,600, which then will imply a move to 11,000. So that's kind of what I'm looking at with this 12 hour. This 12 hour starts to make a move up, then basically I'm targeting 11,000. So yeah, and then obviously 11,000 is a pretty major level. Like I said, I would then potentially expect just a play out in this zone before then a full and formally break back into this range, and then yeah, and then obviously see what we can do in this range again. We'll give this range another go. The 2-day stochastics got the potential to turn up from a low base, which could really get us going. And then 3 days quite low, coming in at a trend line, as you can see. Oh, awfully drawn trend line again. 3-day, yeah, potentially could turn around here, which obviously would be good if 3-day gets turning up too. And then the weekly is the one that is concerning. The weekly is concerning. But we have turned it around once already, so I mean, obviously we can potentially turn it around again. But obviously weekly moves down stochastics do weekly stochastics do often precipitate 30 to 40% drops, and so far from the high, can we have got like a good chunk of that potential 30% move out of our way? Yeah, 20%, just over 20%. Yeah, could that be good enough? Maybe. Maybe that could be enough. And obviously the bi-weekly, bi-weekly topping out, turning down, and also on a bi-weekly 9. But yeah, I mean, obviously it can stay up here longer, like as you can see it kind of did at this period of time, into that obviously bull run there. Yeah, I mean the main thing on the two bi-weekly is just this bi-weekly 9 that we've been looking at, and we have to me, in my opinion, have been playing out bi-weekly size candle ranges after this 9. But again, do I think it is going to reverse the whole trend? I don't think it is. I think it's just going to give us some sideways to down for 1 to 4 candles. This obviously being the first one, so we can play some more well, sideways for the next bi-weekly candle, and then, well, hopefully then we can then push up. So I mean, it all looks fine as long as, obviously, I mean, realistically, as long as we're holding the low of this. But we've still got 4 days of this bi-weekly candle to go, so plenty of time to go in this candle. But obviously, as we all know, things are looking a bit better now. Looking a bit better. We're making that move away from 10k. There was buying at this level, bought back up many times at 10k, more times than you would expect. And obviously the more times we come down here, the more highlight you'd expect it to break. But in all fairness, this was our second time. This was our third time, and this time I was kind of expecting us not really to be able to hold it, but we did. And then we came back down again and spent a lot of time here, and I wasn't expecting us to be able to hold it again, and we did. So yeah, I mean, if we come down again, like I said, I wouldn't expect it to hold it the same as I didn't here or here. But I guess I was wrong the other times. But if I am gonna be right with us breaking down, obviously, I mean, that's obviously could be the time. But yeah, obviously I'm erring on the side of bullishness based on the dollar now going to resume its downtrend, and stocks resume their uptrend, and then everything can go back to normal. But yeah, obviously we have got that slight issue with just with options expiry, which I think is just going to be particularly wild this month in stocks, on the basis that there's such a massive basically open interest in particularly call options. But what that does mean, though, it does mean if that stocks do get going to the, I mean, basically what it does mean for stocks is that any move is going to be exacerbated on the basis that if stocks start to move up, then the market makers are going to have to hedge by buying, and if it starts to move down stocks, then the market makers are not going to stay hedged and they're going to sell, and which is going to exacerbate moves, which is why you get higher volatility. So yeah, we will have to definitely keep an eye on that. But what I will say, though, that is a technical driver of these markets, and it doesn't have to impact the actual dollar as much, which obviously the dollar being the main driver of what Bitcoin's doing. So we could see some wild, and we have been seeing some wild movements in stocks that have not necessarily been reflected as much in Bitcoin. You would expect bigger moves than we've had in Bitcoin based on the moves we've had in stocks. But again, like I'm trying to explain, this could be because we've got technical factors driving stocks that aren't necessarily driving the dollar index as much. So therefore, the dollar index is the main driver of basically, to be honest, the main driver of Bitcoin rather than stocks. So yeah, maybe not expect as much of a reaction necessarily from Bitcoin to stocks, but more so to the dollar index. Tesla having a bit of an update, a bit of a bounce. Is it going to be a dead cat bounce? Who knows? You can see how these nines played out. Sideways there. This is what I'm kind of hoping we're going to get in this bi-weekly 9 with Bitcoin, sideways and then back up again. This 9 got slightly front ran. This 9 called the top perfectly. Look at it. And is this 9 going to call the bottom and Tesla move back up? Yeah, potentially. I mean, it is so far. So yeah. Hopefully this can get back up again, because it's just going to drag stock markets, and it's not gonna not help us. Put it that way, is not gonna not help us. So that is it, guys. Really, that's my thoughts of what I think is going on. Things are looking better. Again, Bitcoin is at an important inflection point, but given basically the rejection of this trend line in the dollar index, we could be in luck. We could be in luck. So yeah, this could maybe not be the bottom of the dollar. And yeah, and we could potentially start to make a move down to those 88s, those two fat ladies, the eights, the lucky eights. Eights are my favorite lucky number. My TradingView profile is Danny B888. So yeah, come on, let's get down to these 88s, and we will all get very rich in the process. So thanks for listening, guys. Remember, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Always do your own research. And I will speak to you guys in the morning.